Invincible Season 4 might be over now, folks, but how does it hold up to the rest of the series? That's right, today we're going to be ranking every single episode of Invincible Season 4. As you can see, I got the old tier list from last year exactly as it was, and it's definitely not a new tier list that didn't save because it's been over a year since I've done this. But we have everything exactly where it is, right as it was when the last season ended. Of course, if you want to do this tier list for yourself, just for fun, or if you want to share it in my Discord server, I'll leave a link to the tier list down in the description. Or if, you want to take my tier list and do a side-by-side and tell me how wrong I am. But I'm never wrong, because I'm the one making the video, not you. As such, all opinions will be discarded. So if you like having an additional source of something on the internet crushing your self-esteem and hope for the future because of how bleak the outlook of the world is, be sure to hit the like and sub, and check out the Patreon if you want. That wasn't a request, you have to give me money to continue this video. Invincible Season 4 was an absolute, just complete wild ride from start to finish. Everything just went absolutely bananas, like after the 4th episode. Like everything just went crazy as the Viltrumite War kicked off. Even though this season was absolutely action-packed, full of action, there were still a lot of really good and tender character moments that, we'll get a chance to revisit and talk about a little bit today. Also, just disclaimer, just because I don't, because people have a tendency to get very upset very quickly and rapidly when differing opinions are in place. If anything goes in the lower tiers, and for the episodes already in the lower tiers, mainly B and C tier, I don't put them there because I dislike those episodes. I like this entire show. Every episode has something that makes it memorable. If something goes in the lower tiers, or any episode goes below any other episode, that just means I like the episode above it more. That doesn't necessarily mean I dislike the episodes in the lower tiers or the ones before that episode. But before we do Season 4, I'd actually like to make a small edit to 2 of the episodes already on this tier list. I'm going to move Season 2, Episode 4, It's Been a While, down to A tier, right below Season 1, Episode 2, and then I'm gonna move Season 3, Episode 6 up to S tier, right above Season 3, Episode 5. I just wanted to make a quick change there because my opinions of the episodes have changed a little bit. But with that small edit out of the way, let us begin the Season 4 rankings. Starting off, of course, with Season 4, Episode 1, Making the World a Better Place. After everything that happened in the previous season, Conquest, or I guess Carl as the internet refers to him now, the whole world was kind of left in like a state of pretty bad shambles. Cities were destroyed, governments were dismantled, many heroes were killed. So this is kind of like, it opens on, it's like the mopping up episode, if you would, where everything just starts to get cleaned up a little bit. And this episode is a time skip episode because Oliver ages noticeably between the end of Season 3 and the start of Season 4. And the best use case for any time skip in any kind of media, be it shows or movies or whatever, the best use for a time skip is to show us how our characters have changed in that time. In the later seasons of Game of Thrones, it was done very poorly, but Invincible does a pretty good job with its time skips. There's two time skips this season. Yeah, there's 2 time skips this season. We'll get back to the other one later. But the intro time skip is like deadly important. At the end of the last season, Mark was like very angry and beaten up, but he was just relieved that his family and everyone he loved was okay, especially Eve. He was just like, thank God we all made it through. But now, in cleaning up his mess, and after everything Powerplex did and said, and after Conquest showing up, and after the other Invincible, after the Invincible War, everyone's looking at Mark much differently than they used to. And not just the public, his family too. That first scene where we see Oliver in his bedroom and Mark being like, hey, I just got an alert, there's another attack happening, get up, let's go. Oliver's like, bro, I've been going all day. And Mark's like, I don't care, basically, get up. That shows us that his relief that everyone made it through has transitioned into just pure agony and like suffering and God, what's the adjective I'm looking for? He's stressed, basically. And this episode does a pretty good job of showing us how he's stressed and how the other people around him are reacting. And I really like the way this episode ends, where Mark kills Russ, who is possessed by the Secwoods, and then I'm pretty sure it's the last word spoken in the episode, Rudy just turns to him and says, Invincible, like with serious, genuine concern, and then Mark just kind of walks off. That is how you show the mental state of your protagonist, to just show how, especially in a series like this, like superhero, like DC level series, it's like show their indifference to the ending of a life. Yeah, this episode's really good. It's a very good intro episode. I'm not really sure where to put it initially. I think it definitely gets an A tier, and I think I like it a little bit more than the season 1 opening. But honestly, I still think the season 2 opening is one I like a little bit more. Yeah, it's because the season 2 opening was just brilliant. Moving on to season 4, episode 2, I'll give you the grand tour. Now, as the episodes of this season were initially coming out, as soon as I watched this episode, like as soon as I finished watching it, I was like, holy crap, how the hell are they gonna top this one? And we'll get to that, don't you worry. But this episode was genuinely, like, fantastic. We finally get a look into the Viltrumite past and the way that it's presented and the cinematography that's used and the music and ambient effects and the way they conveyed the sheer and utter horror of the Scourge virus just, like, made me just play the clip of Alan being like,
Did you just make me feel bad about your planet of genocidal maniacs almost getting wiped out?
seriously, that's the best way of describing it. Did this episode just make me feel bad for the Viltrumites? Maybe a little bit, but not enough to forgive them. This episode also has more development for Nolan, who is honestly, Nolan, Omni-Man, was one of my biggest highlights for this entire season. Like, he was utterly fantastic. Seeing how all his trials and tribulations have finally just added up to just what he is now and what he's doing now, it was just so well done. That long-term payoff finally paying off has just been so satisfying. And his interactions with Alan are just always such a treat. This one's definitely an S tier. I think I would be like smited if I didn't give it an S tier. This episode's just really, really good. I'm gonna put it right above. Yeah, I'm gonna put it right above season 3, episode 6. I think I definitely like this episode a little bit. Actually, no, I think I like season 3, episode 6 just the tiniest bit more. I have a real soft spot for the Powerflex episode. Moving on to season 4, episode 3. I gotta get some air. Whew. Tell me about it. I can barely breathe in this thing. Y'all ain't getting a look at this face, not anytime soon. Give me my diamond play button, then we can talk. In this season of Invincible, we only got 3 episodes in before they gave us more Machine Head. As soon as I saw Titan walk on screen, I was like, oh, they're gonna bring in my boy, aren't they? And yeah, he's a clanker, but come on, it's Machine Head. He's got funny auto-tune voice. And as I've stated multiple times, he is actually pretty smart. This episode really exemplifies just how little time Mark is given to sort of cope with all the horrible things that have happened, not just recently, but also in, like, you know, way back when, like all the way as far back as season 2 even. But we see him trying to call Eve as she is struggling, you know, with her own issues, with her powers. And he clearly wants to talk about the whole situation with Russ and how he killed him. But since Mark isn't given the proper time to heal from that and cope with it and sort of reorient, you know, his moral compass and, you know, retake hold of it, he almost kills Titan because he hasn't had time to recover from Russ. And it's like, damn, I'm just so angry that I just want to kill this guy too. Now, granted, Titan did put Oliver in quite monumental danger. Even in his weakened state, Mr. Liu, he's got a big tail, and as I've stated, the Graysons seem to have a terrible track record when it comes to dealing with creatures with tails. Mark got hit by his tail back in season 3, and then Oliver and Omni-Man both got hit by that giant bug shrimp tail when they were stranded on the planet together. Oliver got hit by Mr. Liu's tail again. Like, they just have a thing with getting hit by tails. But this episode is very entertaining, and it serves a very important purpose for Mark's character arc, and, you know, it progresses the Order arc, if you will. This is a good episode. I don't know if I'm gonna give it an A tier. Definitely high B. I think I'll put it right here in, like, second place B tier. I think that's the best place to put it. Also, just for anybody who didn't watch the prior tier list, the Adam Eve special is, like, completely detached from the rest of the episodes here. Here, I'm just gonna go ahead and move down to the bottom. I ranked that on its own, like, separate to the rest of the series, because I don't really think it makes sense to compare it to the rest of the episodes. So just know that the Adam Eve special is not at the bottom of B tier, it's just in B tier by itself. Glad we got that out of the way. If you haven't watched the other tier list, be sure to go watch it. It's a really good video. Moving on to season 4, episode 4, Herm. Funnily enough, I actually rewatched this episode earlier today. I really like this episode. There are just so many positives and things I can list off about what I enjoy about this episode. Mark talking to Art about, you know, all of his problems with killing Russ and how he doesn't feel he deserves to wear the suit anymore. Art being like a secondary father figure to Mark and being like, hey, I can help you look the part when you want to remember who you were. The demons and Volcanica just being an absolute riot from start to finish. The freaking conversation about the nanotech helmets as Damien and Mark were falling down the pit, that just killed me. Damien Darkblood being a surprisingly like useful and helpful person for Mark to talk to about all the crap he's going through. And of course, a reversion and costume change back to the OG colors. This episode is just great from start to finish. The only thing I don't like about it, well, not that I don't like about this episode in particular, it's revealed in this episode. William's new voice actor. God, why Invincible? Come on, man. Like, I'm not saying the voice actor's bad. I want to make that very clear. I do not think the new VA is bad or anything. But continuity, man, come on. I can tolerate actors for the most part, or characters, I guess, getting a voice change or whatever. Like, I can tolerate that sometimes, but I just love Invincible so much, and the continuity has just been so airtight for just so long, and now something's finally given, and I'm just like, no, why? But I don't blame this episode. It's just it was gonna happen anyway. Now this episode's really, really good. It's got a banger soundtrack. It's got some like pretty funny action. Oh yeah, the ending. The ending is hilarious. Like, what am I talking about? I haven't even talked about that yet. Where it's like Volcanica is like, oh, I'm gonna destroy the surface world, and Mark's like, not gonna happen, homie. And she's like, what are you gonna do to stop me? Boom, dead. Like, that is how I think a lot of people expect a lot of Mark's fights to go. At least on Earth, anyway. I mean, it kind of happened with the Sequid fight where Mark was kind of holding back against the Sequids, and then he was like, all right, I'm not holding back anymore. Boom, I got Russ in my throat, dead. No, I really, really like this episode. I don't think I'm gonna put it directly in S tier. I think I'll put it in A tier for sure. I think I'm gonna put it right here. Kind of like on the lower end of the high of A tier. But let us move on to season 4, episode 5. Please give us a moment. This episode was the now beloved Conquest rematch, and man, it wasn't even a joke, this rematch. Not only did this episode end on quite the cliffhanger, like every other episode in this entire season, but we also got a lot of character interactions that I know probably a lot of people have been waiting for, like Debbie and Nolan finally interacting again, and Nolan finally speaking with Oliver now that he's grown up. Well, he's about halfway there to being a grown up, but you know, he's grown. We finally got Tech Jacket in the mix that like so many people have been hyping up and been excited for. And you know, say what you want about them gender bending the character. Now, sure, I'm not a comic reader, so, you know, don't scorn me for this, but I quite like this gender bend. I think it's pretty cool. It opens up some opportunities with other characters, like I've said in my video about this episode. But I just kind of like Zoe as a character. She's just funny and entertaining to be around. She's like the human version of Alan in a way. And as soon as she came on screen, and as soon as she started just kicking some ass and spitting out some one-liners and just being kind of just a little bit of a smart ass, I was like, oh yeah, when she meets Alan, these two are gonna be friends. But I think the standout point of this episode is the fact that it starts with all these like character interactions and confrontations that have been awaited for like many episodes and many moons. And then like everybody kind of gets on, like they all find grounds with each other that they're like comfortable standing on. They're not necessarily happy to be there, but they know that standing there will be their path for all of them to grow. Some of them want to stand on that ground to get their anger out. Some of them want to stand there because they genuinely want to be there. Some of them stand there because they feel they don't have any other choice. But at the halfway mark of this episode, they are all standing on that common ground, or at least ground they can all agree to stand on together, and they're ready to kick some ass and look toward the future. And then, you know, everyone's like, oh, cool, you know, it all seemed to relatively work out. Still a couple of bugs to work out, but then before we even get a chance to do that, boom, Conquest shows up. And it just throws you for a total loop, and it's like, okay, great, I guess this is happening now. I guess we're doing this. Now, this episode's really, really good. I'm definitely gonna put it in high A, maybe low S? I'm not sure. I try to be very reserved with my S tiers, but I don't know. Let me think about it for a minute. Yeah, I think I'm gonna put this in high A. I think I'm gonna put this right above You Were My Hero, but I still think I like Deal with the Devil a little bit more. That was like such an impact. The Cecil fight and that whole confrontation was just like, man, I was just so invested in Cecil as a character, and I've always loved it when he's on screen. So, you know, that whole confrontation and the dividing of paths between Mark and Cecil, that shit was just so good. But moving on to something even better, Season 4, Episode 6, You Look Horrible. Remember earlier when I said, how are they gonna top the second episode of Season 4 later in the season? How are they gonna top it? Well, for me, this is the episode that tops it. I absolutely adore Mark Grayson as a character. He's one of the main reasons I watch the show. I mean, wow, look at that. You watch the show for the main character. Ha ha ha. But I really, really like episodes that kind of detach the main character and let other characters have a chance to shine in the spotlight. And this is that episode. And it's not just about giving screen time, you know, to the actors who are getting paid to fill these roles. It's partially about that, but it's also about the interactions between the characters. You know, we spend so much time with our main character, like, no matter what, and, you know, the other plot lines and stuff develop alongside him and oftentimes intersect, but sometimes, you know, it's time to, you know, sometimes it's important to give a very nice chunk of screen time to other characters to let them develop together. Nolan and Oliver being stranded on that planet together, working, like, their only common link at the very start is that they care about Mark and they don't want him to die. That's the only reason they're working together at first. But seeing these two slowly work out the issues between them and then eventually start bonding after that is just so freaking sweet. It was just so wholesome. And, you know, we learn a little bit about Oliver's interests. Not only that, but this episode is another extremely effective time skip. And it's also a brilliant way to do a time skip. Oh yeah, our main hero is injured, like, God knows if he's gonna heal or not. Like, you know, it's not even 100% guarantee. It's just a hope. Like, you know, his dad's saying, you know, he's strong, he'll pull through, but we saw him get like half his organs ripped out. Like, is he gonna pull through? He has to. There's still 2 episodes of the season left. But this time skip is effective for a variety of reasons. One of the reasons is that visually it's a very effective time skip. Not only do we see Mark slowly heal, but we also see that big screen showing the Coalition's territories versus the Viltrumite territories, and we see them slowly turn more in the Coalition's favor, and then more and more and more until there's eventually almost nothing left for the Viltrumites. And it's an effective time skip because our characters get to spend a lot of time with each other and get to know each other. So like when we come back the next episode and Alan and Zoe are suddenly really good at working together, it's like, it makes sense. Like, they've been fighting the war together, and we saw a nice montage of that. And goddamn it, this episode ended on the stupidest, most annoying, this is one of those meme things that you know they did on purpose, with freaking Conquest Grave being like, oh, he's gonna get up, a fist has come out of the ground. Nah, he's dead. That goddamn fake out, I swear to God. Now, this episode is top tier. This episode is 100% in S tier, no questions asked. I think I'm going to put it above Season 3, Episode 5. Am I gonna put it above Episode 2? Yeah, I am. Yeah, no questions asked. Yeah, that goes right there. I think that's a good place. I think I'm gonna put I think I'm also gonna move the Powerplex episode up just by 1, just above the Season 2 finale. It's a really good episode. But moving on to what felt like the finale, but wasn't actually the finale, Season 4, Episode 7, Don't Do Anything Rash. You know, I think Thetis should have taken a note from the title's title and not charged head first into Viltrum to try and kill Thrag. Maybe he, would have a head to charge into battle with again. God, this episode, where do I even start with this one? First of all, like I said, it very much feels like a finale. We have a big, giant, absolutely massive climactic battle with all of our characters together and the new big bad, who is the real Invincible, let's be honest. A giant planet gets destroyed with some absolutely beautiful artwork and montages showing it happen, and we get some close calls like Space Racer almost biting the dust. I swear to God, I literally thought Space Racer was done. I was like, oh, yep, he's dead. No more Infinity Ray. But nah, Zoe's running that mad support this whole fight. And I remember, I don't remember when it was. I think it was probably shortly after this episode came out. Luke was talking to me about this episode, and he was kind of like knocking on Tech Jacket a little bit. Well, not knocking on them, but kind of being like, I don't really get it. I don't really get the hype around them. But then after this episode, after Zoe ran just mad support the entire time and just kept everyone out of danger and helped weaken some of the Viltrumites, he was like, okay, no, I get it now. Like, Tech Jacket's pretty cool. I mean, I already liked Zoe because she was just a fun character to have on screen. But, I am the type of guy who gets more out of the characters and their interactions with other characters than the action. Still love the action, but I get more out of the character interactions. Also, we got Battle Beast, who is now floating in space, God knows where again, unless the Coalition picked him up. But it's finally time for Oliver to get really hurt and recover stronger than ever. And, our heroes didn't really win this time. They destroyed Viltrum, and you know, the war is technically over, but man, they're still not in a good position. Thetis is dead. Alan now has to run his job, and, you know, who knows how qualified he really is for it. No one knows where the Viltrumites are by the end. They realize Thrag is probably unkillable unless they find some hidden weakness. And this episode is really ironic, and I'd like to re-explain this irony if you didn't watch my video about this episode, but you should go watch all my videos about this season, because, you know, you should do that. Actually, you know what? No. I won't explain the irony of this episode, this additional, it's a bit of meta irony, I'll call it. You'll just have to go watch the video if you want to learn about that meta irony. But if you did watch the video and you do know what I'm talking about, just post a lobster emoji in the comments. No, I really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was really good. Some of the one-liners and some of the threats between the Viltrumites and the heroes were great, especially Mark being like, I killed Conquest, I'll kill you too. That shit just went hard as fuck. And especially the way after he said that, all the Viltrumites just look at him like, wait a minute, he killed Conquest? Yeah, this episode's really good. I think I will get scorned if I don't give it an S tier, so I'm going to give it an S tier. I think episode 2 of the season is a little bit better. And I think, you know, I think I'm gonna actually move this episode down to A tier, because I do like this episode a lot. This episode is really good, season 3, episode 5. But I think some of the new episodes in season 4 and some of the small tweaks I've made some of the other episodes just kind of bump it down a little bit for me. So I'm gonna put it right below Herm. I think that's the best place for me to put it, I think. Yeah, that feels good. And last but certainly not least, the season 4 finale, season 4, episode 8, Don't Leave Me Hanging Here. This is the first finale where we don't have a big climactic end battle. Not really, anyway. We don't have a physical action battle. Mark has a battle in his mind, though, that's for sure. We don't get some big fight like Angstrom, Conquest, or Nolan. We get, well, we get Thrag sort of monologuing instead. And I'm sure a lot of people have gotten accustomed to Invincible finales ending with some big fight, but I think now, especially in this season, all the events that transpired in it, this was the perfect time to do a departure from that standard, I guess. If there was ever a time to do an episode where our heroes don't know what the hell is going on and they sort of are just suffering with the ramifications of everything that happened in the prior battle and just coping with all the horrible things they've seen, it is this season. The fact that Mark goes to Cecil and is like, bro, I'm like really struggling right now. Can I speak to those therapists you talked about? Is such a testament to just how bad he's doing, and it's a great way to show and convey that to the audience. Also, Lee Pace, he just kills it as Thrag in the final monologue where he's like, I'm gonna tell you what your future is like now. I mean, he kills it the whole season, but I don't know, I feel like he really put on his Emperor cape this time around, you know what I'm saying? Not to mention we learn about Eve having an abortion and Mark and Eve just sort of confiding in each other and coping about that whole situation, and sort of talking about, you know, the ultimate risks their relationship has and how one day it'll just hurt like hell because that's how it always goes, but they both think it's worth it, and then it's worth it, and they both seem to think that. And that was just really sweet. I love Mark and Eve. Like, I see a lot of people either just like not really caring too much about the love interest and romantic plot lines, or some people being just like straight up disliking them. But I think they're adorable. Ever since season 1, episode 2, this thumbnail right here, ever since I saw these two flying together, I was like, oh my god, these two are gonna be such a great couple. But to try and sum up my thoughts, because I feel like I've been rambling for a really long time, which is true, judging by the recording time, yeesh. I am definitely going to be giving this finale an S tier. They always nail the finales every single time. I'm gonna put it above episode 7. I'm gonna put it above episode 2. But I think episode 6 is my favorite episode of the season. I think it's just how it is. Like, it's my favorite episode of the season. I think it's really good, and like, it's such a great, gives us so much great insight on our characters. But there you have it, my friends. Every single episode of Invincible Season 4 and every episode prior to that ranked on a tier list. I haven't done a tier list in a little while. I cannot remember the last one I did. I'll throw it up on screen for you. But I absolutely love doing tier lists of Invincible, because every year I get to come back and update the tier list and being like, here's what I think about the episodes, and you know, here's where I'd place them. But overall, my favorite episode of the show is still season 3, episode 8, the season 3 finale. That's still my single favorite episode of the show. And I think it's because Mark and Conquest kind of have like something of a strange, like, not bonding moment. It's just the whole loneliness speech where we get emotional insight into our antagonist. The action's good, the aftermath is good, everything about that episode is just top notch. And of course, don't post your opinions in the comments, because you're wrong. and I'm right. So if you want to get mad at me in the comments for that hard truth I just hit you with, be sure to leave those fires in the comments. I got about 2 more Invincible videos planned. One of them is just kind of goofy and silly, and I made one of them last year, and the other one I'm not going to spoil, but if you want to watch those 2 videos when they come out, be sure to hit the like and sub button. I would really appreciate that. That'd be very kind of you. And if you want to show me a little bit of extra support and help me keep this channel running and just really help me out, be sure to check out the memberships or the Patreon. Not only do you get access to a whole bunch of exclusive rewards like end of monthly vlogs, which at the time of this video uploading, there should be another one coming out relatively soon, but you also directly support me in the process and help me keep this channel alive and help me keep getting videos out to you to the best of my ability. I try not to like overly plug or promote patrons or memberships because I know how tough the economy is right now. Like really, I freaking get it. I'm struggling myself. I'm stable enough to where I can dedicate my full time to doing this, but there's still struggles, you know? So if you're able to help out and you want to help out, please be sure to check out either the Patreon or the memberships. I would genuinely appreciate it. But that is gonna do it for now. Thank you all so much for watching, and yeah, have a good day, everyone.